People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Welcome, everyone, to the Buck and 2MC show. Looks a little different tonight. We have Weldon Wright with us, former track athlete for Tennessee, now runs his own marketing company and is getting involved with volunteer roadshows. So, Weldon, please say hello to everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'm just really blessed to be here, and I was a track and field athlete at the University of Tennessee from 2015 to 2019. I enjoyed my time at the university, got great opportunities to meet people from all walks of life. In fact, one of my closest friends was Kyle Alexander, still my close friend, my Canadian brother, 7-footer. So it brought me so many great relationships, and it was just a blessing to be a part of the VFL family.
Now, Weldon, you graduated, was it 2018-19, your last season at Tennessee?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got the opportunity to fight through injury and made it to SEC's outdoor. Was one spot away from scoring. I had a broken foot, but I had some great opportunities after the fact. Actually, currently, I'm training with a group out here in Knoxville for the Winter Olympics, hopefully to make a team there in bobsledding. So still doing some sports, still having fun with it. Now, like you said, doing a marketing agency and doing all types of things, just enjoying my gifts and talents that I've been blessed with.
I am fascinated by that answer. There's precedent for that. Are you going to be the one that pushes? Would it be 2-man, 4-man, or do you even know?
So right now I'm kind of in a pool of people that are athletic, right? You know what I mean? And so it's like they're trying to determine whether I'll be in a 2-man or a 4-man, but for sure I'm not steering and I'm not braking. So I'll probably be just one of the guides, just holding on to it and just pushing. So that's the goal. Hopefully I get the opportunity. If not, it's a crazy fun experience. I've been blessed with so much athletic, gifts. So it's like, why not, use it? Why have it?
And for those who don't know, Weldon was a long jumper and a triple jumper, which is probably two of the most athletic and technical events in track. I mean, the difference of what, a quarter of an inch is
centimeters.
Winning or not?
Yeah, centimeters. People think that I just go out there and I just run and jump. It's a lot of film. I watch so much film from the technical aspect of it. I was blessed with, Coach Sullivan being the head coach at the time. She had a great staff of people in there. So we sat down and had, video reviews to go over your steps. It's as simple as stepping incorrectly when you first start. So, 90% of my jump is based off of my run. So if my technique on my run isn't perfect, my jump is going to suffer from that. So it was a lot of fun. I love it. I'm thinking about, getting back at it and trying to do something maybe, 2024. So you guys just keep me in your prayers for that. Hopefully the opportunity presents itself and you'll catch me at a Summer Olympic Games.
And Weldon graduated with a management degree from the Haslam College of Business at UT. When he first came on, I said, you look 16, but he's a college graduate and potential Olympic bobsledder. How in the world did you decide bobsledding might be a good pursuit in athletics?
So this is so funny. So believe it or not, so track and field is super new to me, right? So I did it my junior year of high school and sophomore year of high school. I started super late and I ended up being really talented at it. And so I was training at the gym over here in Knoxville at Armor. And a friend of mine, his name is Lane, that I went to Bible study with, he was like, hey, like I seen some of the, movements you're doing. He's like, you're putting up weight. You're doing some things that are pretty athletic. He's like, who are you? Like, what did you do? I said, well, I ran track and, I just want to keep my athleticism. And he was like, hey, I'm going to put you in contact with a bobsledding coach that I know, because I bobsledded for a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. So put me in contact with them. Next thing you know, I'm training. Hopefully I'm going to, go out to the facility, get with the guys, see how I match up, and then just seeing whether or not I can compete in that. The crazy thing is, believe it or not, triple jump in bobsledding, they correlate. So it's power, speed, and all those things, those numbers that I have available to show them, I match up perfectly with like a bobsledder. So it's just amazing how that's kind of translated into this. So it's just, hey guys, go to Bible study. That's all I have to say. You might end up on a bobsledding team. So
it looks like it would be absolutely thrilling, but you've got to have some courage to get in this little metal thing. And how fast are you going across a sheet of ice and then sideways in the turns?
I mean, they said, from what they're saying, it's over like 100 miles an hour. The thing is, like, do not look up bobsledding crashes, because I did, and it was just like, yo, this was not what I should have looked up. But you're going really, really fast, and like any movement inside of the bobsled is like can put you off like milliseconds. So it's really like being on a roller coaster. And believe it or not, it's like I used to never ride roller coasters, and now I'm about to go on one that's like way faster. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, Weldon, for those who don't know, Weldon Wright is joining us tonight. He's getting involved with Volunteer Roadshow. He was a triple jump and long jump track athlete at Tennessee, graduated 2019, and he's here to also talk Lady Vols with us, because Vol for life, Lady Vol for life, you know exactly what all of those mean.
Yes, those are like when I came to the University of Tennessee, it allowed me to look at what it really meant to be a Lady Vol. Because when I got there, believe it or not, that's that little moment where they didn't have that name with them, that connotation. And I remember being like, no, this is a very important name, and it's so pivotal for women, because it's like all the women that I got to interact with at the University of Tennessee from every sport, every background, they came here to be a Lady Vol. So in that process of like getting the petition and all that stuff to get the name what it needed to be, we knew that like as, VFLs, future VFLs at the time, we needed to sign that so that they could have that experience. And I'm glad that like in my senior year, by the time we had kind of lobbied with everyone, that the Lady Vol name came back in full force. And I think that that's very important even now when you talk about like the NIL that just recently happened as well. So, yeah.
That is so encouraging to me to hear that, because you're very young, and the fact you fully understand what Lady Vol means, it's not just something those of us who've been around for decades understand. That is very encouraging to me that young men like you get it too. And I just want to thank you for that, Weldon. That is appreciated.
Yeah, I just know that like, I have 3 sisters, and they understand the connotation. Two of my sisters went to the University of Tennessee. One's younger and one's older. And the biggest thing that they talk about is how the University of Tennessee is a space where women have a voice. So you have to have platforms like this. You have to have places where women can express themselves fully. It's the same thing when we talk about pay gaps and all those other things that go into play, because you're not different than me. You know what I'm saying? That's what people are missing. You're not more different or better or anything like that, So what that means is it means that like I have to, stand in the gap for someone I feel like there's an injustice there. They need the support. They need the encouragement. They need guys to stand up and be like, no, like my mom was a great pivotal person in my life for track and field. My dad didn't run track. My mom did. So she was the one that encouraged me to continue to pursue it. She was the one that had, her old coaches were giving me tips on how to be the best athlete I could be on track and field. So looking at it from that perspective and understanding what it really means to be a Lady Vol and what you guys are, like, you guys are legends, you guys are all legends, it's just a beautiful thing to see,
What did your mom, what track and field events did she do?
So my mom ran the 100 and the 200 meter. She also triple jumped as well in high school, but she didn't do it in college. She ran at Cal Poly. I think it was Cal Poly State at the time. But yeah, that was Charzette Wright. Love you, mama. Shout out to my mom because she birthed me. But yeah, talk about, someone that taught me to, you have to stand in the gap for the people that can't stand for themselves, And so in a lot of regards in my generation, I think that we need to be really like focused on pushing the message and continually push the message, because it doesn't stop here. I got to teach my kids, you know what I mean? That's important. I got to teach my daughter, that's important, So yeah, I just love the experience that the Lady Vols kind of had on my life, because it made me, check myself, be an open ear, and made me grow. So I know that that's a lot, but it's true,
Well, Beth Edwards is in the comments. I don't know if you can see him on your end too. She said, Weldon gets it. We're keeping him. So
yes. I love it. Thank you, Beth.
I'm glad you were filling in last minute, because you couldn't have made a better introduction to this group of diehard Lady Vol fans. I mean, they are diehard. They have lived through, particularly in basketball, some of the highest highs, the diagnosis of Pat Summitt, the death of Pat Summitt. I mean, it's been a fan base that has been battered, and with things that happen that are life ending in the case with Pat. So
yes,
the more allies the Lady Vols have in every corner, the better it is. So
yeah, you have an ally in me for sure, 100%.
Speaking of Lady Vols, soccer, they get started. I can't believe it's soccer season. Regular season opens tomorrow at Regal Soccer Stadium. I believe it is Florida Gulf Coast. It's a 7:00 game. Talk about people who run. I mean, I could never play soccer because
no, too much going on. I would have got subbed out in probably the first 15 minutes. And everyone's like, oh, you run track, you should be able to run. I said, no, they're running and kicking a ball and they don't stop running. And then, you know what I'm saying? I get to stop at some point. I know that I got to last at least, 20 to 10 seconds, whatever the event is for me, because I'm a shorter sprinter. But with all that running, I don't know about that. But y'all should definitely get out there and check out those soccer balls, those lady soccer balls. Hey, I used to love going to the game. The energy there is insane. So y'all go out and support if you have the time.
Weldon, this is Patches. She's a Zoom boomer, bomber. She loves to be on any time I'm on Zoom or any kind of streaming service. So that was Patches.
Destined for the spotlight. I
love
it.
The commotion are my two dogs who were asleep, and people are familiar with this all the time. Also, volleyball will get started the last weekend of the month. Just a minute. Hey! Okay. I don't have children. You can't put kids in crates. It's frowned upon. So
yeah, it's considered like what is it called? Bad parenting. I think that's
apparently.
What they call it. Apparently,
I think it's safe parenting. Let's put the kid in the crate.
See, my mom just had this thing she called the rod of correction, and and she just bring it out, and I already knew. I said it's over with. I'm gonna just go where I'm supposed to be.
No way you go outrun your mama, so you might. Yeah.
No, I remember I ran up the stairs one time. I looked down. I looked up. She was at the top of the stairs. I was so confused. I said, "How?" But yeah, Lady Vol volleyball. So believe it or not, when I was a freshman the lady volleyball team was like right behind me. So I got to go hang out with them all the time. We had a lot of the same classes. Erica Triber was a beast. I tried to go play volleyball with her, and she clobbered me and destroyed me. I tried to jump with her, All-American volleyball for you guys. Tragic moment in my life. They got it on video. I've hidden the film. Can't expose myself like that. You guys will not get that film. And I hope it doesn't show up because I'm speaking about it. But yeah, definitely go to those games. I used to love going to those games because we'd get done with practice, go to the training room, get my little protein shake, and it was like dope to go wind down and go watch them kill it. That atmosphere too. Like I had never like actually participated in going to a volleyball game, but I was like, yo, why do we not do this? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we come to volleyball games? Like, and so the whole track team would come out. We'd all started going. So it's exciting. You guys, support the people around you, support the people in your community. If you have the time, I think that it's really important because, those kids that are down there, they're just looking for someone to support them. A lot of them, sometimes come from homes where there is no support. So just you guys being the fans, that's like the biggest energy boost you can get,
Kentucky is picked to win the SEC. Not a surprise. They won it last year. They won the national championship, the first in program history. So that is no surprise. I was a little surprised. The SEC, preseason all SEC team only has 9 players, and all 3 come from Florida, Kentucky, or LSU. That's just a little bit odd to me.
It's one of those things where, like, as an SEC guy, it's always the teams that they front load. Like you have a team that's like overloaded, or there's some transfers that have happened, and then they're like, oh yeah, these guys got to win. You know what I'm saying? And so they just bump those teams up. But we're seeded to volleyball is seeded to hit 4th this year. And so I'm like, no, I think we're kind of being slept on a little bit. I think that we're definitely coming for that number 1 spot. We got some veterans on the team, with Ava Bell. She's a great star. She's going to be out there. And then you got a nice young core that understands how to compete. So when you have competitors that are going to be out there that can definitely show up and show out, any opportunity to be great is definitely in our favor.
And last year, it was a COVID year for all sports. And that I just sort of told people, everybody gets a pass on what a difficult, their first series out the gate, they were supposed to go on the road and the visiting team had a positive test, and all of a sudden you're not traveling. They struggled to start, but then evened out their record and really carried that momentum, I believe, can carry that momentum into this season. 4th is, with Kentucky, Florida, you get, even getting to 4th is pretty good preseason, but if it's motivation, all the better.
Oh yeah. When you're in the SEC period, you thrive off of your ranking and what they tell you that you are, because everyone that's in the SEC, we're cream of the crop. We know, we're like, oh, this is about to be exciting. If they think I'm only as good as this, oh, just wait until we have that challenge. Like my dad always says, it's either you're going to mildew or you're going to barbecue. And the thing is, it's like we realize that we've had those options and those opportunities to do that in the SEC. A friend of mine, Zach Long, he was seeded to get 8th. Man ended up winning the race. It's just exciting. So I know that the girls are excited. I know that I'm excited because I'm always watching lady vol, any sport, because it's just, I know I have to be that in tune to it because anything can happen. That's where the magic happens,
Alex, let's do the sponsors real quick. You may have to help me with the visuals. Obviously, Blue Water Climate Control, we already did their video. They also do the maintenance on my HVAC system, so I put my money where my mouth is. Appreciate their sponsorship. OrangeMountainDesigns.com, of course, our presenting sponsor. Lady Vol Apparel. And the big event coming up is August 28th at the Alcoa store at noon to 3. you could see the NIL coming through there. That's Jordan Horston, Tamari Key with the basketball team, and Ashley Rogers and Kiki Malloy with the softball team. That will be a mask required event. These are athletes trying to protect them. Also, everybody knows East Tennessee is kind of a hot spot in areas right now for new infections. And people will be allowed inside, but it will be small groups, and then another group comes in. So but definitely an opportunity to meet these young ladies, talk to them, get your gear, get your new signature apparel they have. And also the other sponsors, of course, Alexis Hornbuckle basketball. She cannot be with us. She is training a former Lady Vol, Kelly Kane, tonight as Kelly prepares to play overseas. The Gold Standard, that's former Lady Vol soccer player Jamel Johnson. She does fitness and sports performance training. Just pass it, online tutoring. You don't have to be based in Florida, but you don't have to go there. You do it online. Learning made simple. Get those grades up if you want to go to college. And Billy Ratliff's Tap 40 Grill in Powell, a sports bar experience. They are getting it ready, going to have all kinds of beer and food and TV and gear, and it's going to be Orange Haven. So if you don't like volunteer stuff, don't go, and we don't want you to come. So
we don't want you there anyways.
Just take your money, though.
Yeah, we'll take your money.
The big thing, Weldon, people like to talk about, and I don't do it when Alexis is here, because she is a Lady Vol for life and considered a forever representative of Lady Vol basketball. I don't ever want to say recruiting names and get her in a pickle of where she feels uncomfortable because she cannot advocate or promote any. I mean, you could always tell a recruit, hey, Weldon, why'd you go to Tennessee? Or Alexis, why'd you go to Tennessee? But you can't push anybody or appear to be pushing anybody in the direction of Tennessee. We've got a little more clarity now, and fans here, obviously people really want to know about recruiting. As you know, you were there was a coaching change, and then Kelly comes in 2019, and then in 2 years there were 2 assistant coach changes. And you're an athlete, you understand the adjustment that has to be made if you're even if assistant coaches leave, because they're often the ones recruiting you.
Yes. It's one of the moments that, the conversation, like my little brother runs track at the University of Texas. And he was at MTSU at first and running track. They had an assistant coach change. When I was at the University of Tennessee, I had an assistant coach change, the coach that recruited me. Anytime you have that moment, especially for someone that is the person that believes in you, and is there for you, he's advocating for you, and you get a new person in that position, that person is going to advocate for their guys. You know what I'm saying? Who they know, who they built a relationship with. And I think that a great Pat Summitt quote is, you win in life with people. People forget about that all the time. And since you win in life with people, you have to understand that this coach coming in, can either make or break a team, because it's like this person is going to have the most hands-on with the team. So it's one of those moments where, like, as an athlete, I remember telling the team, like, we got ourselves together. We were like, look, we can't allow us not knowing this person at all to affect our performance. We can't allow that to be what we call an excuse, because there is none. At the end of the day, you represent what's on your chest. That's the power T. So that's what it's about. So if he's wearing orange, okay, he's our guy. We rocking with him. We used to say rock with him till he wrong. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. I know that it's very tough. I know it's tough when you get that interaction. I remember when and so for my situation, my assistant coach, he left really unexpectedly in the middle of the season. I had just come out of a situation where I was injured my sophomore year, junior year. And so I get a call. He's like, hey, I'm no longer with the team. I'm going to go handle some other things. And, I had an intern coach that came in, and we were just sitting there like, yo, wait, he was like the volunteer coach. Like, now I'm listening to him getting coached up by him. And it's like I had a whole different game plan for the season. And so, you can't let that, affect your performance. You can't let that be, it's a wash, we'll just get it back next year. No, the time is, if they're rocking orange, you rocking with them. You're trusting that process. You're trusting the experience of those coaches because they're there for a reason. And like I always say, if it's causing you to fret, then it's a you thing, not a them thing,
For the kids still in high school, the two UT assistants who are kicking it out there, you said rock with them. And Joy McCorvey, Samantha Williams, of course, they just got here in April and May. And obviously the class of 2022 in basketball will sign in November. You talk about a short window to suddenly build relationships with 16 and 17 and almost 18-year-olds. That becomes a challenge. Fortunately for Tennessee, the one recruit they had already, who was recruited by one of the assistants that is now at Arkansas, Justine Passat. She's 6'4" or 6'5", and her range is about to the 25-foot line. And I am not kidding. That is one of the most pure shooters in the class. She's out of Toms River, New Jersey.
Okay.
And she committed and has stayed committed. I mean, she committed to Kelly Harper. So it's not like her head coach is gone. So she's in. And people keep asking me, all right, what kind of class size does Kelly Harper in Tennessee looking at in the class of 2022? And I said, ideally, you want 3 to 4. And don't ever forget the transfer portal. That is in play now. That is, you're recruiting for high school you're recruiting for the next incoming class does not end at all now like it used to, where you sort of were wrapped up in November. April is a whole new landscape.
Yep. It's one of the things that, after, like with any coach, once the news breaks, you're like, oh, well, I was playing for that guy. That was my guy. That's the relationship I built. Wherever they're going, people move and transfer. When I was coming up, the transfer portal wasn't necessarily even a thing quite yet. It was kind of like you could be released to certain teams. And then in my junior year, the transfer portal was operational, and it was a crazy experience, because now on a team, it's like you realize as a coach, you're like, okay, these guys can maneuver this field of play now. They can maneuver a lot more. It's more flexible. I remember a good friend of mine was like, hey, I don't have to be here, and it's like, whoa, like when people have that kind of disregard. And what I encourage with the younger generation and the high school guys, I'm like, look, if you're going to a team and you're going based off of just, you want to be there, you just want to be there because of the name. My first thing is build the relationship before you get there. Have the tough conversations before you get there. Ask them, when you have those moments, because obviously, there's times you can talk and there's times you can't. But when you have those moments where you communicate with them effectively on your vision and your goals. Because if you don't, guess what? They don't think that you want what you want. They're just going to be like, okay, this guy's just here for the gear and the T and the degree. You know what I mean? And so I encourage a lot of young athletes, and it was a blessing for me to have a younger brother that was just as good as me. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to go through the same experience. And I was like, I was able to be the guinea pig. And I was like, look, communicate with your coaches. You know what I'm saying? Have a relationship with them. You should be able to give them a phone call. The biggest thing that I love about Pat Summit's whole time she was there is everyone in the Lady Vol community on that family. It was like a family. They had real conversations about real life, and I think that that's something that, as a young adult, like coming in, because you're 17, 18, they automatically make you an adult, but you're really a young kid. You know what I mean? It's like you need to have that interaction where you start to get to know your coaches. Coach Gifford, who was the jumps coach at University of Tennessee my senior year, he always brought his family around. He always created that environment. And I found that even though this was a new coach, this is a great experience because I'm getting to see us become a family more than just a team, and that makes you work harder. People don't even realize that. When you do stuff for your family, you want to work harder. So that's my biggest encouragement, especially when you now have the opportunity to move and maneuver and kind of, be your own boss in a lot of ways. But remember, you got to keep intact those relationships, because just like with anything, you don't want a bad integrity on your name saying that you were just, disheartened where you were at. You want to make sure that you're still actively communicating effectively, and that's what builds great relationships.
The one, two good things. Obviously, Justine Passat, I mentioned her. She's staying. She's on board. She's coming in. She also will visit. And she wants to take her official visit because of COVID. She got here last June for a summer camp, but I mean, none of these kids could actually visit when we were in that shutdown. Which, I mean, Brooklyn Miles, she's now a freshman on the Lady Vol basketball team. She met Kelly the day she moved in the dorm.
Yeah, because
she could not even visit Knoxville prior to making her commitment and signing.
It's a after experiencing COVID myself, I understand how important it was for me to go on my visit. I remember I was late. I was a late addition to the University of Tennessee. So I came, I won state, and then I was like, shoot, I'll take the visit to Tennessee. You know what I mean? I was trying to be nonchalant about it, but I was excited. I was ecstatic. And I'm glad I took the visit, because at first I was like, no, I'm not going to take the visit. I mean, whatever. And every time you don't get to experience what you're getting into, you kind of create these things that don't exist, these expectations. You're like, oh, they're supposed to treat me like this, and they're supposed to treat me like that. This building's supposed to look purple. It's like, no. Do you know what you signed up for? And a lot of times in this COVID year, a lot of athletes are struggling with that. My brother was telling me the same thing over at all universities. It's a area also with people getting that extra additional year to come back. It's they're like, yo, man, thought I would be done with this, but now year 5, you know what I mean? I'm back in here. So that experience too does definitely hurt, relationship building. But the beautiful thing about it now is we have Zoom, we have FaceTime. We're doing this via internet. Like my mom always says, you have no excuse not to communicate with the people that you're going to work with or that you care about. And if it's important to you, you got to make it important to everyone else. So you have to use what I was expressing earlier, you have to use your resources 100%. And that's crazy, the fact that a lot of these kids are just not meeting their coaches. I think I met my coach about 4 or 5 times, met him at the state meet. That's the reason why I chose Tennessee. It's because he was very hands-on, communicated with me multiple times throughout the summer, tried to encourage me to early enroll. He wanted me here. He was like, look, summer class starts this date. We're going to have you here. You know what I'm saying? You qualified academics. Let's get it, and I thought that was very admirable because they were pursuing me. So, I know that's tough, but it's exciting for a lot of these kids too, because they're finally kind of, COVID for a lot of people, they were cooped up. So they got a lot of energy. They're ready to go.
Good. I hope we get back to as much normalcy as we can, as quickly as we can. Now, Brooklyn, to recruit her, she came on campus with her father and walked around. She saw it. She couldn't meet anybody. Yeah. And campus was empty because everybody had gone to work from home. They also, Zoom, FaceTime. Tennessee sent videos. Okay, here's the weight room. Here's the locker room. Here's your dorm. You were able to show these kids what they would walk into, but to physically in person not meet your head coach until the day you move into your dorm is just, I never would have imagined it would be done that way.
It's crazy. It's you have this opportunity to go to your dream school, and it's you only get to see pictures and you don't get to check anything, and so you just get there and you're just well, we're here, you know? So the thing, what I do like about this whole thing, and it, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like, shoot, that means they really want to be there. And that means they really want to work. You know, that means that they are all bought into the system already. So, you know, like me as a coach, I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, that's someone we can already trust for sure. You know what I mean? That's super exciting.
I agree. And the freshman class, I recently got to talk to Kelly about them, and she said their adjustment has been so smooth. They are upbeat, they're vocal, they're happy to be here. So that is a good sign. Kudos to Joy and Samantha, because like I said, they got here last spring. Obviously, they've got great relationships with 23s, 24s. You know it. You've got to get in early. You are in the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. They suddenly had to get relationships with 12th graders who have been recruited by other schools for 2, 3, and 4 years. So you're behind the 8 ball for 22, which is almost what makes the transfer portal a blessing when you have that situation. But I want to give props to them for 2 names that they apparently got in with very quickly and who now are going to take official visits to Tennessee. One is Maya Jenkins, 5'10" guard out of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. I have said that Tennessee needs a shooter, a guard, and a post in this class. Posts are hard to come by, true post in women's basketball right now. And as I said, the 2022s, it is hard to pry them out of the schools that are already their favorites and the staffs they already know and have been talking to for 2 or 3 years. The other player Tennessee will get a visit from, besides Justine, of course, she's taking her visit, is Kyla Oldacre. She is a 6'5" post out of Mason, Ohio. And apparently she and Amaya opened a lot of eyes on the summer circuit, because this was the first time in 16, 17, actually about 18 months that coaches could go even see players in person. So otherwise, they had to rely on a fixed camera that may or may not have been a grainy or clear video stream. And and you're scrambling with jersey numbers that don't match the roster you paid $2,500 for. And players wear a different jersey, or that player didn't make it. So those are the 3. There are a couple other names in 2022 and names I'm tracking, but those are the 3 names I'm hearing the most right now in terms of real interest in Tennessee. I do know that 2022 is not going to be an easy year to recruit based on having 2 new assistants, but I do think 2022, if you combine early signees in November out of high school and the transfer portal, could be a very outstanding class. I know fans get nervous about recruiting. They wonder what's going on. So anyway, keep an eye on those kids. They're on Twitter. If you follow me, you can see where I've retweeted stuff about them. Kyla Oldacre, 6'5" post out of Mason, Ohio, and Amaya Jenkins, 5'10" guard out of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And it's like you said, Weldon, if a young lady right now is really seriously looking at Tennessee, despite the fact they have yet to meet Kelly or meet her assistants, and that sends a clear signal that if that player comes to Tennessee, she really wants to be here.
That's what it's about. Like all the ladies you just mentioned, it's like, if they get here, now that they can come, or if they get seen by them, they've been watching, they've had too much time on their hands. Imagine being, through COVID, people were sitting at home. You could do extra research. I know kids that were getting their homework done. My little sister was getting her homework done by like noon, from home, so she's like, I'm sitting at home. I'm just researching. I'm doing makeup videos. I'm like, okay, go crazy then. But like, if you had that extra time, you now can like realize, okay, this place looks like it's going to be a great place for me because of my game, because of my skill set, because of my talents. And so now, kids are getting more hip to like their giftings and their talents, Maria. So it's like, it's good to see that, like, you know, they had that little break to kind of do their research and go dive into it for themselves. And so now that, you know, they're coming into this new space where, you know, Tennessee's actively engaging with them and they can actually get a little bit of hands-on, I think it's going to be a great experience for them. I think that they're going to, you know, it's going to be a no-brainer to go to the University of Tennessee.
If you can get a recruit in any sport, I'm just going to speak in general, on this campus,
oh yeah,
it exponentially increases your chance of getting them. It is a campus that the pictures don't do it justice. When you walk into these facilities, it's like, wow.
I remember, you know, and when I got there, they were renovating the track and they were like, yo, this is what it's going to look like. They had renderings and pictures and all that stuff. Even when they're doing additional things, like even now, like they are showing you what it's going to be. And the thing is, they put you in that same light and it gets you so excited because it's like, I'm going to see that come to fruition when I'm here. I'm going to see this even be better. And now with all the facilities being done, like, man, the coolest thing was when Kyle stopped talking about, you know, the Lady Vols and the basketball team's locker room being done. And he was like, hey, you know, you got to check this out. Boom. You know, me being me, I was in there. I was like, it's so pretty in here, you know, and I'm starstruck and I'm already at the university. So it's like, just imagine being a young, you know, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid, you know, wanting to hoop at the collegiate level, at a high level, at a premier school, you know, and then you walk in there and you see the campus and it's like, it's breathtaking, you know. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I gotta be here. You know, I gotta be here.
It's incredible. William Wink Smith and Maria, you said you talked to Kelly. Will you be writing something up? Yes, I will. I'm going to work on that this week. I also am on the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame board, and we have this little thing called induction this weekend. So I am busy with that all day Friday, all day Saturday. The great Tamika Catchings, former Lady Vol, of course, will be one of the inductees. It will be in person. Masks are required inside the Tennessee Theater. I will be probably in 3 masks just to be safe. I do not want this illness. I know enough about this virus to say no, don't want it.
Yeah.
Don't want it at all.
Please, people, wash your hands, you know, use mouthwash, stay clean, take care of yourselves, please. That is my only public service announcement while I'm on here. Just really take care of yourselves. I think that's what COVID taught me. A lot of people don't take care of themselves like they should. So,
yeah, I was concerned that all the hand sanitizer and soap was running out. I'm like, did you people not wash your hands prior?
That's what I was saying. Me and my brother, we had a whole conversation about it. I said, yo, so I'm kind of concerned about everybody. I said, they wasn't washing their hands. Like, hand sanitizer was nothing new in my house. We always carried that, you know. That was a normal thing. Like, we always had that. And then my mom was like, even with the toilet tissue, they're like, so wait, you really need to wipe that much? I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? Well, you're not wiping before, you know? So it's like, just know that you got to take care of yourself. It's really important. You know, we got to stop the virus the best way we know how. And that's just staying clean. Stay clean.
Yeah, stay clean, stay safe. People also keep asking me about the non-conference schedule coming out. At this point, I think it's going to be a game-by-game surprise. We'll find out. We'll show up at the arena and like, oh, look, we're playing, you know. So that's a joke, of course. I know it's late. They're waiting on SEC to get their dates in, TV contracts finalized. I do expect, as I've said before, Tennessee to be in a Thanksgiving tournament. The tournament organizers have to coordinate that, and so that release would come through them. So we're all impatiently waiting, and hopefully, what are we at now? August 18th. Hopefully, we have something in terms of the schedule, well, within the next week. I hope. I went back and looked at my old stories, and sometimes it was the end of August before we got it. So it's not like it's that unusual. But Kathy said, do you think it will be full attendance? Kathy, I think that is the plan right now. I also will say nobody knows exactly what direction we're headed with all this. You have to just be prepared for anything at this point.
Yeah, just ready yourselves. That's what I would literally encourage everyone to do. I run a small business. My marketing agency isn't that big, but my biggest thing was making sure that like everyone that's working with me is wearing a mask no matter where they're at. Because for the work that I do, I shoot a lot of video. So I do content creation for companies, photography. It's just like, hey, you're going to interact with a lot of different people, and you don't realize how many people you get involved with. So, if you don't have to be in super, I call them dense areas where you're surrounded by a lot of people, get somewhere and stay there, stay out of the way. I remember I'm a hugger. I'm a dapper upper. When you see me, you can wave at me. You can give me a knuckle touch, whatever, and I realized like for me, I was like, man, I'm realizing how many hands I'm touching. And I have to be very important that I'm sanitizing and I'm taking care of myself. I think that when you guys go in there, wear your mask, if you're not feeling well, just stay home. I'm a bad advocate of staying home when I'm not feeling well, but COVID taught me that if I'm not feeling well, I don't want to get anyone else sick. So, if you're feeling up to it, go support, and you're healthy and you're feeling fine, go there and really be in the stands cheering. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. So, but just do your research. Stay up to date. Maria is always gonna keep you updated on anything news regarding the Lady Vols. So just keep yourselves safe. I really want to advocate for that too. Yeah.
When I tell people I like this young generation, they ask me why, and I said just talk to them. Talk to a few of them. You'll see why us old folks like them. They get it. We better do our sponsor thing again, and we'll start to wrap up. When we come back, Weldon, I want you to promote your company. Got a lot of people watch this now and later. I want people to know how to reach you. Obviously, OrangeMountainDesigns.com. Get all your Lady Vol gear. Get on your calendar for August 28th with name, image, likeness. Lady Vol athletes also will be the beneficiary of this new legislation by the NCAA with Kiki Malloy, Ashley Rogers of the softball team, and Tamari Key and Jordan Horston of the basketball team. It will be a lot of fun, generate a lot of interest. There will be guests coming with the players. I can't specifically say who. I don't want to confirm people but for the most part, there will be a lot of teammates coming with them, so it'll really be fun. Alexis Hornbuckle basketball, she's hard at work. If she's back training, I know everybody knew Alexis had COVID, back training, so she's doing better. That is good news. Just Passat, the gold standard fitness and sports performance training with Jamel Johnson, former Lady Vol goalkeeper and an outstanding soccer player. Just Passat, learning made simple. Blue Water Climate Control, of course, we heard from them earlier. And Billy Ratliff's Tap 40 Grill, the most famous fumble in Tennessee football history. When Billy Ratliff got that ball, T. Martin drove the team down the field to beat Arkansas, keep the perfect season alive. The rest was a national champion history. Weldon, I'm trying to figure out if you were born, and I'm coming up blank on that. I think maybe no, or maybe you were 1 or 2.
I was probably fresh on the scene. When was that exactly?
1998.
Yeah, I was about 2. 1 or 2. By then I was already walking and moving around. I walked at 6 months, so I was a surprise.
Renee said, I'm out due to tornado warning for my area. Renee, please stay safe. She said, see y'all next week. Thanks, Maria and Weldon. Weldon, tell everybody what you do now and how people can find you on the internet.
Yeah, so I started a marketing agency. It's called X World Marketing here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We specialize in content creation. That is our main thing. So we write scripts for people. We create any type of video you could think of. We also do photography as well. We also know how to do, SEO campaigns, and I can go on and on and on about all the things we do. You can find me on my Instagram, Weldon's X World. And you guys can find me right there. And then you can also find me on our website, xroadmarketing.com. If you have any comments or concern, my numbers are all synced to my cell phone. So if you want to reach out to me and you have some ideas, we do a lot of real estate, videography and photography here in the area. We currently are working in conjunction with BCM and do a lot of their production as well. And yeah, volunteer roadshow. We do all that as well. But if you have any comments or concerns, or you need some help with your small business, we also do business consultations as well. I got my degree, like she said, in marketing, but I got my minor in entrepreneurship, and then information science, which is just research. So I'm a research guy. I do my homework on everything. So that makes sure that you guys, can be a successful business. Currently working with Cisco here in the city. We're working on doing some cool projects as well. So there's going to be more video and more content coming out on all my platforms via YouTube. I'm setting up a YouTube channel as well. So you guys just look for a lot of cool things that I'm going to start presenting to the city. I'm working on getting some cool experiences. A CBD bar, we're working on that as well. I have a lot of things in the can for UT students as well and athletes. Working on hopefully being able to create a scholarship for, young athletes and non-athletes that are people who want to pursue, their academic dreams. So you guys just keep me in your prayers, and I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's been so exciting, and go Lady Vols.
Thank you, Weldon. We'll definitely have you back. I can't believe you're doing all that and training for bobsledding. I'm just amazed at you right now.
Hey, look, last year, like you said, I wasn't doing anything. I realized how much and I'll bless you guys with this. I set a goal for myself. I said, whatever I want to do this year, I'm going to pursue it. And because last year I didn't get the opportunity to. So, it's crazy. I quit my job to do this marketing agency full time, and it paid its dividends. I live in Suttree Park. I'm actively engaging in everything I want to do. I'm following my dreams, and it's just as simple as I'm gonna put my time in. I'm gonna do it, and so you guys can do it too. You're never too old, young, whatever they try to say. Don't listen to that. Just follow your heart, and you'll be where you're supposed to be.
That's awesome. Just remember that, fans. When you're supporting Tennessee athletics and all sports, you're supporting young women like Alexis Hornbuckle, Nikki Anasike, of course. We just did that fundraiser for her, and young men like Weldon. So thank you to everyone here. Thank you to those who continue to support Tennessee Vols and Lady Vols. And let's all have a safe week. Hopefully we'll get everybody safely inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame this Saturday. And like we said, please stay safe out there, make good decisions, and we will see everyone in a week. Peace.
Peace. Is it over? Yeah. You don't need to end it? Yeah.